Maria, a young woman in her 20s, moves into her late grandmother's home to sort out her belongings. The house is quiet, filled with old furniture and dusty memories. In the attic, Mia finds a small box covered in cobwebs. She opens it to reveal a delicate porcelain doll with cracked, unsettling eyes that seem to follow her. The doll has long, dark hair, a cracked face, and a smile that looks more sinister than sweet. Around its neck is a note. Her name is Belladonna. Do not leave her alone. Amused, but a little spooked, Maria takes the doll downstairs. She brushes it off as her grandmother's eccentricity and puts Belladonna on a shelf in the living room. Little does Maria know, she has just awakened something dark and disturbing. The first night, Maria hears soft whispering in the darkness and a faint giggle, though she's sure no one else is in the house. She nervously checks the rooms, only to find everything in place. Shaking it off as her imagination, she heads back to bed. Over the next few days, Maria begins noticing unusual things around the house. She hears footsteps when no one's there, sees objects that were carefully placed now in disarray, and often feels a cold presence lingering behind her. Each time she tries to ignore it, but the strange events grow harder to dismiss. One night, Maria finds Belladonna facing a different direction than before. Maria distinctly remembers positioning the doll straight, yet now it's angled to face the door, as though watching her every move. Feeling uneasy, she places the doll back on the shelf, only to find it in a new position each time she re-enters the room. The lights flicker as the doll seems to glare at her with growing intensity. Frightened and disturbed, Maria calls her friend Sarah for support, asking her to stay over. Maria shows her the doll and explains the strange events. Sarah laughs at first, teasing Maria for getting scared over an old toy. But when they go to the kitchen, they return to find Belladonna, lying on the floor, her arm outstretched as though reaching for something. Now even Sarah is unsettled. The two friends agree to lock Belladonna in a small box and hide it in the basement. They hear faint whispers as they shut the basement door, but both try to ignore it, hoping a night of rest will help clear their minds. That night, Maria has a nightmare of a young girl's voice calling out to her, crying and saying, "Why did you leave me alone?" The next morning, Maria goes downstairs to find Belladonna. Back in the living room, sitting on the couch with her head turned slightly, as if waiting. A chill runs down Maria's spine as she realizes that Belladonna seems to have somehow escaped the box in the basement. Determined to rid herself of the cursed doll, Maria decides to drive it far away. She takes Belladonna to a remote field outside of town and leaves the doll under a tree, saying a quick goodbye before hurrying home. That evening, as she sits down to watch TV, Maria is horrified to find Belladonna sitting on her favorite chair, her cracked face staring straight at her. A sense of dread fills the room as Maria feels the doll's eyes bore into her. Panicked, Maria decides there's only one way to be free of Belladonna. She takes the doll outside to the backyard, builds a small fire, and places Belladonna into the flames. As the fire crackles, Maria watches the doll's face distort in the heat. But as the doll begins to burn, Maria hears a faint giggle echoing around her. Suddenly, a chilling voice whispers in her ear, "You can't get rid of me." Maria spins around, but there's no one there. Shadows dance around her in the firelight, and for a moment she thinks she sees the faint outline of a child's face, smiling back at her from the smoke. The next day, Maria feels a strange sense of relief. She's finally free from the doll. Or so she thinks. That evening, just as she's about to go to bed, Maria notices something on her dresser. It's a small, cracked porcelain doll with familiar dark eyes and a twisted smile. Belladonna. Maria stares in horror, realizing she can never escape the doll's curse. Did Maria truly get rid of Belladonna, or will the doll forever haunt her?